I have this fantasy of dying and then being accused by hosts of animals that I've eaten, from prawns, fish, and all the others.
We're here in Norwich today seeing if animal lovers are vegan or not. We're giving out free snacks and hoping to entice people, and we'll see how it goes. So you've told me that you might not be an animal lover, but you think you might be maybe, but you're not sure because you eat them.
Yes.
Yeah?
I think eating them sort of precludes you being considered an animal lover to a certain extent.
Do you want to be an animal lover?
Well, I am an animal lover in part. I do have cats, but then again, those cats have been modified for my comfort in that they've been neutered. So again, I've intervened in a way that might not be so what the cats themselves, my pets, would have wanted if they could have wanted. So again, my loving of animals is limited by these elements.
Yeah, why would you say that you eat them? What makes you think, yes, they are a food animal and I can eat these individuals, whereas you wouldn't, probably not with your cat, right?
I think in my case, it's very much a product of the culture I was brought up in. Food was generally had a meat product with it, had a bacon in the morning and bacon fat dripping, and then there would possibly be a roast chicken once a week and things like that, and the odd pork chop. So I was brought up with that, and I haven't been able to overcome that habit.
Do you think that you could see yourself overcoming such a habit?
I think that the moral arguments for vegetarianism are very, very strong. I think that all animals have, if they don't have a level of intelligence, certainly are able to feel and suffer in ways that we do as well. And I think that I'm persuaded morally by the argument, but unfortunately, as in so many other areas of my life, I'm somewhat immoral sometimes in my actions, and I regret that. And sometimes I do have this fantasy of which I don't believe is going to happen, but I have this fantasy of dying and then being accused by hosts of animals that I've eaten, from prawns, fish, and all the others.
And it's interesting as well, it's not just the animals who we eat. You know, animals are tested on, they're used for clothing, and as well as that, people don't realise about the dairy and egg industries, that animals are killed in those as well, and they're also used in ways where their babies are taken from them, you know, so that we can have their milk, things like that. So have you ever looked into veganism and the benefits that there could be to you as well as to those animals?
I haven't looked into veganism. No, I do know one or two people who are vegan. It's I think that veganism might be a step too much for me. But if I was able to change my behaviour, it might be towards eating more vegetables and reducing the amount of meat I eat, which is already occurring to a certain extent.
Yeah, and it's good.
Veganism is a bit too far a step, possibly because I know the eggs are stolen. I don't drink milk, but the eggs are stolen in a way, so I can see some of the logic behind it. Yes.
Yeah, so like with the hens, they are selectively bred to overproduce eggs, so they end up expelling loads of nutrients from their body. They're in terrible conditions, and yeah, they end up being killed when they are no longer of use and no longer lay eggs. So that's kind of the issue there, that we're seeing them as a commodity.
Yes.
The thing is, with veganism, you don't have to give up. Like, you can have vegan meat. You know, in Aldi, you can get 2 vegan chicken breasts for £1.49, and you still got the protein in it and everything that we, you know, look for when we're eating these animals. So it might feel like a step too far, but you're not really giving up things. You're just changing them for something else.
Yes,
like,
I understand.
like I have in the morning, like scrambled tofu instead of scrambled eggs.
Yes.
It's all just about like learning and doing a different habit. You know, we are creatures of habit, and we are creatures of comfort. But as you say, you're very compelled by the moral argument, and maybe, you know, if you would aspire to do something that's better for the animals, and you don't have to be, you know, that fantasy you said about them meeting you and being angry at you.
Yes.
You don't have to partake in that.
Yes, I can see what you're saying. In fact, today I have a friend who is attempting to eat a lot less meat, if not going completely vegetarian. And I will be cooking him a mushroom curry, which I've decided on the way walking here that I will have myself, which is something I would normally not have. I normally have usually some meat of some kind. As for tofu, I have to think I've ever tried it. I may have had it. My friend has had it, so certainly that speaking to you has made me think that perhaps it would be something that I could try, and if I liked it, then it would be good.
Yeah, I mean, I've been vegan for 10 years now, and I'm quite lazy, and I was stuck in my ways. I used to love eating the organs of animals, but then something switched in my head where I realized I'm an animal too, and I wouldn't want to be subjected to what we subject or seen as a commodity in any way, shape, or form, you know?
I'm very persuaded by the idea that animals have a high degree of intelligence, a great degree of capacity for feeling and suffering, and I am persuaded that very much so that the animals that we keep in for farming do suffer to an extreme, almost to an extreme extent. Even those that are kept very well suffer, and
Yeah.
I am definitely persuaded by that argument.
Yeah, I've been to farms myself and I've checked them out because people say that they're happy, the animals are happy. I've never been to a farm where the animals aren't in horrible conditions, even if they are in nicer conditions. Those conditions are not in their interest. They are not free. They are not safe, because one day ultimately they'll be sent off to be killed, won't they?
Yes, I've also experienced going on quite a number of farms and to slaughterhouses, and I know what goes on in those places, and I agree with you that even the best kept animals aren't free. Although obviously one of the implications of a mass movement towards veganism would be that a lot of these farm animals wouldn't be bred, so they wouldn't come into existence, which is a good thing, I think, because it's much better that they don't exist than they exist and suffer in the way that they do.
Yeah, selectively bred into these bodies that some of them can't even carry.
I agree with you totally. Yeah, they are very much deformed animals that have been deformed for our benefits.
Yeah,
and
to overproduce,
you see also that with non-farm animals, like many dogs, I think, are also bred in such ways that the kennel club as breeding selectively animals that actually have defects that cause a considerable amount of discomfort and suffering to those animals.
Yeah,
so
like pugs.
You can even see that in domesticated animals.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. It's been a really interesting conversation. And if you'd like, there's a free snack. You can actually get these in. Oh,
Okay.
you can get these in Tesco. They're like a vegan Kinder Bueno.
Okay, very
So there's
nice.
a vegan version of like everything now. You just have to look for it,
Yes.
and it's worth it to those animals. And as you say, you don't want to come face to face with the consequences of what we do to them. And
No.
the vegan is the way.
Well, thanks very much for interviewing me.
Thank you so
very
much. It's been a
Okay.
pleasure.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.